Well, as you know, we are about to touch 100 episodes very soon, and guess who else counts down to 100 every year? It is Chandan Khanna, who is the founder of HDOR, which is 100 Days of Running, one of the world's biggest running festivals, only this one's virtual. It keeps you motivated in the comfort of your home and allows you to work around your schedules while staying engaged with communities around you. It plays on the competitive spirit of humans, and he tells me more about how he's made a business out of it. But one that has a very good intent behind it. He talks to me about why coders of today must seek to become programmers instead and what's in entrepreneurship that keeps him going. Go check out the episode, and until the next one, stay tuned. This is Karishma, and I'll be back yet again very soon because this week we are touching 100. Tada! Thank you so much, Chandan, for joining me on this episode of Karishma Connect. It's a pleasure to have you. I look forward to knowing more from yourself about what you do, how you do it, why is it so special to be you are today. And that brings me to my first question, which is tell me about your journey so far, because I think that's what you say best, better than I will.
Okay. So my journey as an individual as is very old, I think that, but my journey as an entrepreneur started in 2011. And mm, when people ask me that why and what made me do this, get into leave a proper job and go into entrepreneurship, I do not have a very relevant answer. I think I just felt that, I'm not able to utilize my potential and I
Mm,
want to do so much more. And I felt constricted. And that just made me quit my job. And
mm,
all I had was, as an investment, I had my PF, which gets accumulated in my previous company. And that's all I had to start with.
mm.
And at that point of time, that is in 2011, this startup fever, which is there right now, it wasn't there that much.
Yes.
People were still convinced, or people were still looking forward to get a proper job which could, pay them salary month after month. So I faced a lot of questions and doubts from people that, why
Mm,
you don't have a lot of, businesses for people who have a lot of money behind them,
mm,
and you don't. So why are you doing this to yourself?
mm,
And at that time, I did not had any major vision. I just wanted to come out and see what different I can do,
mm,
and what can make me feel less constricted, what
mm.
can make me. That was the only motive, I think.
Yeah.
And so in that period of time, I founded a services company, IT services company, nothing flashy. We used to provide software services. And in 2015-16 onwards, we started focusing on health and fitness. And that is where me, my partner, and my few other colleagues decided that, what is the. So my brain always works in a way that what is the most efficient way to achieve a certain goal,
Mm,
right? And fitness was the goal, and what was the most efficient way. So I turned to running, because running is something, all you need is a pair of shoe, right? And that's it. So I said that it doesn't matter what time you can run, or what time you want to, where you want to run, you can just run on the road. So I said that, okay, the geek inside me said that, this is something which is the most efficient. It does not have any dependency on anyone. So let's start running. So we started running, we started enjoying. But then the factor came in that there are so many commitments in a person's life,
mm,
right? There is commitment from family, commitment from work. Sometimes your clients call you, sometimes there is a meeting you have to travel. But then I realized that this is a problem which is with everyone, right?
mm,
And these are certain things which you cannot compromise on, right? You can't compromise on this thing. Let's be realistic. People say that you have to give half an hour to your health and you need to have a discipline, but realistically, it's difficult, right? It's difficult.
yes.
If you have kids, that further complicates the situation. If the kid is sick, then what you're going to do? No, you're not going to tell him that, okay, you remain in fever, let me do a workout first,
Yeah.
right? So you don't do that, right? So that is what that thought, you know, was that problem was in my mind, and that, you know, the solution to that was that, why don't we okay, before that. And that is one side of the problem. And the second side of the problem is, which I believe whenever I speak to anyone, everyone agrees with that, that how do you keep yourself motivated, right?
Yeah.
It's easier to go on day one, Karishma. It is very easy to go on day one, right?
Yes.
The all you need, the easiest form of motivation to go for day one only, is that you do a binge
Yeah.
party, or you know, drink a lot. Next, the guilt arises, and then you feel that, you know, I need to focus on my fitness, and that's day one. But what about day two? What about day three? What about day four and day five? That is the second problem.
Mm.
uh, I thought I tried different things, but I realized that the best thing to do for day two, day three, day four, day five
Mm.
is a community, right? Your friends, your people. Sometimes you are not in that mood to go, but that time you need a push. You need someone to knock on your door. Hey, come on, let's go,
Yeah.
right? Because it's difficult to have. See, if statistically also, it's difficult to have four people in the same mood.
Yeah.
One of you would be in a better mood. One of you will be in the lower mood. So leverage this law of averages. So
Mm.
the community is a major contributor to push you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
And this is what is proved by these things: running groups and cycling groups and yoga groups, right?
Mm. Mm.
So I thought that let's tie these things together. Let's tie the flexibility,
Mm.
and let's tie the community. How do we do that?
Mm.
And that gave birth to virtual events. This gave actually birth to the thought of, why don't we have something which is independent of, you know, us, of a community being together,
Yeah.
right? Because if we are talking about community, making people do certain things together, we are in a way making the first part difficult, which is to be done easily, right?
Yeah.
That if we are talking about community, then we are talking about probability of 10 or more people to be free at a certain point,
Yes.
at the same point of time, with this with different restrictions, right?
True. Yes.
So mathematically we are decreasing the probability, right? So how should we come about this problem? And that's where uh, we created a solution. Me and my friend, we said that let's do one thing.
Mm.
Let's make a promise that we'll go every day. We'll go out for a run. Let it be as low as 2 kilometers, right? Walk or run. Even if you don't want to run, you go for a walk, and we log our kilometers in a Google Sheet, so
Mm.
that can be shared, right? That was the first event which we did together, right? And we realized enormous potential
Mm.
of just looking at each other's number. Okay, Mayank did 4 kilometers today. He promised me he'll not do more than 2 kilometers. What a bugger. I'm going to show him, right? You know what I mean, right? It's a
Yes.
healthy competition.
Yes.
As humans, we have that competitive spirit as well. We have
Yeah.
some emulation as well, right? And that gave birth to 100 days of running, which was our first event, and that eventually gave birth to HDR. We started with two people, which was not an unofficial event, two or three people, um, an unofficial event. But then when we made it official, first we had 200 odd participants,
Mm.
and then the number just multiplied. And we thought in 2018, and there were like 20,000 people suddenly registered. I mean, and it was all free of cost. We did not charge anyone for that. That time we thought that we can't continue it free of charge because there is a cost associated to it. So we started charging people for registration.
Mm.
It's a nominal fee. It's like starts from 350 rupees. But still, people came out and registered. They really like the concept, and it's still going on. I'm really proud of the fact that it is considered a biggest feeder system into the running community of India. A lot
Mm.
of people start running from us,
Mm.
and they qualify for marathons like Boston Marathon. They complete Tata Mumbai Marathon, which is great. And you know, we have a very healthy population of healthy. percentage of women participation,
Mm.
because this entirely falls or aligns with a housewife probably
Yes.
who has much more commitments to do,
Yes. Yeah. I.
and she is in much more need of some kind of a outlet which is flexible and which
Mm,
makes her feel connected,
mm, mm,
right?
mm,
So we have a very thankfully we have a very good population of housewives, and around 40 to 45% is we have women participation
mm.
in our group. So that's our journey, Karishma.
What is that one lesson you think from that time of starting up that
Hmm.
is priceless and is something that people need to know about no matter which startup era they're part of?
I would, yeah. So there's one thing which I find, actually, a couple of things which I don't find in all the startups,
Yeah.
which I'm not sure because I'm not the one to decide. Though I'm not a Steve Jobs, so I can't say this is right or this is wrong. But in my opinion, if that portion which is right now I find missing in some of the startups can be included, then it will be great. Startups these days are much more spontaneous. They are very dynamic, and I appreciate all those things a lot. Sometimes there is a lot of things to learn, how spontaneous they are. What I believe is that there are two things which can be, if that can be included, if that can be given attention to, it'll be even better, which I think I carry forward from the times when, not even when I was starting up an organization, but even then when we were working
Mm.
in my job, right? So the two things are that I find one thing very important is humility, right? Uh, Being humble, being, showing humility. Sometimes I feel that the startups, when they are in that growth spurt, and the founders are very, bullish, they are, fully confident, and testosterone running in their conversations, it's all good, but one should not forget that the businesses are, there is going to be a good time and a bad time,
Yeah.
right? And so when there is a good time, don't forget to be humble, don't forget the humility, because ultimately you're absolutely nothing, right?
Mm. Mm.
And nature or universe won't take even a second to, make you eat a humble pie.
Yeah.
So you just have to be grounded, right? You're like, life is like 50% your effort, and I believe 50% chance. So don't forget that chance is a major component, and just be humble, right, around people. It's so much good. I get so much attracted to people who are so humble and down to earth.
Mm.
And I feel that's the quality which everyone should imbibe. And second thing is discipline, right? That's very, it's very overlooked, and
Yes.
it's not deserving that it's deserving the relevant of discipline, right? We feel proud to say that we are working late night, we are working 20 hours, 22 hours, but guys, come on, you can't do that for a long period of time.
Correct.
And those 22 hours, you're not even giving you, it's not possible to give your 100%.
Yeah.
Rather, you give your 100% for 8 hours, take out time for workout, take out time for sleep, rest, eat, stay with family, right? It's nothing to be proud of if you have not seen your family for, for ages. It's nothing to be proud of if you're not eaten for 2 days, a proper meal. It's nothing to be proud of if you haven't slept. It's absolutely nothing.
No.
And you'll realize it later, or sooner or later, but it's just people take proud sometimes, I feel, that when they are, just to show that they are so hell-bent on working. I believe that things can be, if those things could be there, that's what I feel. Yeah.
Both very important points right there. Tell me, your journey must have been very challenging because you're setting up something that's completely different, right? I don't think I have ever heard of a virtual event for running or heard of this concept ever before I got your profile coming my way. But tell me, what were the challenges and the opportunities that you encountered along the way, especially starting something that was maybe there was no reference point for something like that
Yeah.
and you thought about it. So tell me something about
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, like you yourself rightly pointed out, the product itself is very new. So the first challenge was to explain people what this product is, right? You have to really convince people. The first resistance comes from people. Hey, are we going to pay you to
Mm.
make us run? I can go and run on my own, right? Sometimes I even have to explain it to my marketing agency. I ask them, I probe them that, tell me, are you convinced about it or not? I
Mm.
mean, not because we have a, client vendor relationship, not because of that, but just tell me that if you are convinced about that product or not.
Mm.
And some of them always come out that, what are we actually giving to participants? I said that, right, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So you have to understand what you're giving to a participant, right? We are uh, if it was so simple, then why are you not running today,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why are you not going every day to run? And forget about running. Do you do any other sport? Why is there a problem of health in the industry? Everybody knows everything.
Mm.
Everything is there on the internet. You search once, you put in the word health in Instagram, the Instagram will flood you with all sort
Yes.
of content. So that's not the problem. We are solving the wrong problem here.
Yeah.
The problem is that we don't get motivated. We don't stay motivated. And motivation is the biggest hurdle,
Yeah.
right? So we are addressing that. We are just addressing that. And people who participate, they do realize the value of it. People who are looking from outside, they have their doubts. And that's the biggest challenge which we have to make people overcome, to explain the product, right? Why is it important? And other challenge was obviously finance, right? We are completely bootstrapped,
Yeah.
right? And we are very, everything, as a founders, you get very passionate about. And the side effect of being passionate is that you get a little less practical. So yeah, so to maintain a balance between, our creativity and passion, the left side of the brain and right side of the brain is the second biggest challenge. I think it's with everyone, but yeah.
How do you navigate that? How do you personally navigate that?
I think the first challenge I explained that that there is no easy recipe for that. You just need to talk to people, and you need to make people in your company talk the same language, right? The
Mm.
way I can explain you, the way my partner Mayank can explain you, with the passion and with the kind of simplicity of the word. I'm not trying to say that this is the best manner we can explain, but we try our level best, right? We have to create our parallels. We have to create people who are uh, convinced to the same level as we are.
Mm.
And so that is one challenge. That is how we navigate the first challenge. And second challenge, I think, Karishma, um, that's the challenge which I believe everyone is managing in their own life. It's not an entrepreneurial challenge as well. It's a personal challenge
That's
as well,
as well. Yeah.
right? So you have to cull some of your ambitions, some of your, your wild thoughts, and you have to keep reminding yourself that how much can you expand, what is your constraints, right? Everyone does that. So business is nothing different, it's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
just that in a personal life you just have one saving bank account, few credit cards, and you have a limited sources which are coming in and limited sources which are going out. It's just that business is just more complex. Like, you have more sources of coming in, you have much more sources of going out, so you have to keep track of everything. That's it. But ultimately decision is the same way. You have to compromise certain things to keep certain things running.
And tell me, Chandan, how does the platform work for the people who
Hmm.
are listening this, for them to understand? And this is related to your first challenge. I want you to explain that product to me. How does it work in the
Mm.
sense that how can people engage with it? How do you connect people? What do they get
Sure.
out?
Sure, definitely. So if you are coming to SDR platform, depends on which is the source, what motivated you to come. If it was your friend or your running group or your neighbor, or your colleague, office colleague, and they have referred you that, that's the, I believe that is the biggest contributor to the participants. I mean, organic growth. Or you're coming from a social media campaign which we run at times just before our events to let people know about our event. So the moment you come to our platform, it's a very simple platform. You just need to register with us, right? It's free of cost. And there are multiple events. You get a calendar. You get to see what events are there. If you click on one of the event, then we try to explain what is that event about, right? Suppose right now it's a steps challenge going on.
Mm.
So once you register for a steps challenge, you get a, a summary of what you need to do and how you need to do it, right?
Mm.
You can connect your app which you're using. Maybe you can connect your mobile, or you can connect your watch with our platform. So it's very simple. You go to a platform, register, and connect your favorite app, whatever apps we have built integration with. What that will do is that will get your activity data into the platform, right? Once you have done this job, or suppose you don't have a mobile phone or a smartphone, or you don't want to connect it, there is a place where you can manually enter what activity you have done, right?
Okay. Okay.
So once you have registered for an activity, once you have done this integration, right, uh, when the event starts, you the event has different criterias, right? For example, if there is a steps challenge, the steps challenge is divided into different stages, and
Mm.
the stages gets difficult. The stage one would probably give you that, you need to do on average of 5,000 steps in a week, right?
Mm. Mm.
And you should have one super day, which could be a Sunday or a Saturday, where you do 7,000 steps, right?
Mm.
That is stage one. So we have gamified that.
Mm.
You complete stage one, and in stage one, if you're doing these challenges like a super day or continuous 3 days, so you give you badges that, these are the challenges which you have done.
Mm.
So you get badges, and based on your steps, you get certain points, and these points translate you into a leaderboard. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So
Mhm.
suppose you today connect and you participate in steps challenge, whatever data we pull from your smartwatch or smartphone, that we extract the steps, we give you the badges if you have completed any super day automatically. You don't have to go and mark yourself.
Mm.
You get those badges, you get those, the digital trophies, and you get yourself placed in a leaderboard. And leaderboard is basically where you stand today
Mm.
across all participants, where your rank, and you see a chart showing that who is above you, who is below you. It gives you a leaderboard for your gender, right? So it gives you a leaderboard for your age group,
Mm.
for the city you are in, for the country you are in. Uh, Different criterias for leaderboards is there, and the idea is that some or the other leaderboard will show you in a good position,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
So that's the trick here. And the other source of motivation here is the leaderboard is that you have few people above you and few people below you, right? So it gives you motivation that, if I do 10,000 more steps, I'm going to be probably at this rank. And why not? Go ahead. It's the same thing. It's give you the same dopamine effect which you get from Facebook or Instagram,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You get hooked onto it, but the only difference is this is for your health, right?
Yeah.
There's no side effect for it. So that's what happens. That and exactly same is for example 100 days of running, which is going to start in April, right?
Mm.
It's going to be the 10th edition. Super simple. Just go out every day, 2 kilometers you need to walk, right? It's
Mm.
simple. 15 minutes if you walk, 20 minutes if you walk at most, you are bound to complete 2 kilometers. So no need to take any watch, no need to take anything. Just throw everything. Just go out for 20 minutes walk. That's what we are asking.
Yeah.
But the catch here is that you need to go for 100 days,
Mm.
and that challenges you mentally, because y- y- your mind is not used to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that challenges you mentally. So you don't want to go the third or fourth day. You say, "यार, 3 दिन हो गया, बहुत है ना यार,
Yeah.
अभी मैं 2 दिन बाद जाऊंगा." But then you get a notification on your mobile app that You did not go for a run today. When you open your mobile app, you will see your leaderboard. You'll see yourself going down,
Yeah.
and that is the moment you'll think that, okay, it's just 2 kilometers. Let me just quickly go for a walk.
True.
And if you do it, like it's a saying that if you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit, right?
Yeah.
And that's true. Suppose you do something for 100 days, it's going to be forged into your brain, this habit. And that's what we need.
Yeah.
After that, you're free to do whatever you want to. You want to play badminton, but you will never skip this thing in your mind that you need to take out 15 minutes for your fitness, right?
Yeah. And it's
That is
also
the concept.
worldwide.
Sorry.
It's accessible worldwide.
It's accessible worldwide. All you need to do is that you need to connect your smartwatch or
Mm.
smartphone
Mm.
with our platform, and you don't need to do anything else. If the integration is not available with your smartwatch, or you don't want to do it for some reason, you can do a manual entry into it, right? And you can still be shown on the leaderboard. Of course, there are some restrictions for manual entry, so you can't just put that you did 21 kilometers today. That would be unfair for other participants who
Mm.
are competing on leaderboards,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what. So this concept, by the way, I'm happy to tell you, it's all been taken away from Atomic Habits.
Mm.
If you have read that book
Yes. I
by
haven't
James
read it,
Clear,
but I have it. Yeah.
oh, you must. That's taken from James Clear, Atomic Habits. It says, make if you want to make anything as a habit, you have to make it easy to do, right?
Okay. No.
And you need to do it every day,
No.
right? And you need to create an environment for you to make you do it, right?
You're true.
Yeah.
All of this works on a code, right? And that's
Yes.
for your background. So I want to ask
Yes.
that as a coder, as somebody who has utilized his skills from coding and a completely different industry and made that
Mm,
to use for something good. You're doing business. Your business is a business that's actually driving a good change in the community.
mhm.
What would be that one tip that you would share with any aspiring coder, especially in today's time where technology is like taking over? There's that challenge that you face of keeping it authentic, keeping it as honest as it can. What should they keep in mind when it comes to diversifying?
Okay, so you're talking from a perspective of a coder,
Yeah.
right? So I think the first thing is that we should, going forward, with the emergence of artificial intelligence and machine learning, so the concept coder has to change. So if you consider yourself a coder, then you need to change. You need to become a programmer, right? Now you would ask me that what's the difference between a programmer and a coder?
Yeah.
Coder is something that you convert a thought into a machine language, which is a code, right?
Mm.
But programmer is something which, in my definition, which you are creating an automated system. You're creating a program. So
Mm.
you need to change your perspective
Mm.
from being a coder, or creating converting something into a machine readable format,
Mm.
to a programmer. You are programming something, right?
Mm.
Now the program is directly related to a problem statement, right?
Mm. Mm.
You can't have program out of nothing. There is a program which
Yes.
always does something, which always addresses something, right?
Yes. Yes.
So the moment you start thinking as a programmer, this is to all the coders.
Yeah.
The moment you start thinking about a program,
Mm.
your thought process will automatically change
Mm.
from what should be the next line of code to what is the problem I'm solving, right?
Mm.
And not everyone might end up having a problem solved like Steve Wozniak solved, or Steve Jobs solved, or probably Bill Gates solved, or probably probably I solved a fitness problem. So you
Yeah.
should not try to think that I'm going to solve this problem. Don't think about it, but just be in that search of a problem which you want to program,
Mm.
because you have the programming skills, because you're not a coder, you're a programmer.
Tell me what's your mantra to staying relevant through all of this as a business owner?
Mantra to stay relevant. Okay, so I think that staying relevant is a consequence. It cannot be an aim,
Mm,
right?
mm,
You cannot aim to be relevant, right?
mm.
You can, your relevancy may result with the work which you do, but be, you can't aim to be relevant, right? So I don't aim to be relevant. I just aim to be, you know, I just aim to solve the problems which I think there are, right? It could be personal, and which also means that I need to solve my personal problems also. So finance probably is something which is a constant problem for all the entrepreneurs, right? So I
Yes.
need to solve that. So I'll not think whether it is relevant or not. To hell with everyone else, it's relevant to me, right?
Mm,
I am my other problem is that, probably I want more and more people to join HDOR. So that's, the fitness, India is going through a very peculiar phase. People did not used to think about fitness, but people have started thinking about fitness. People have started understanding that why most of the Indians, we have a different shape, and you know we have a different shape altogether. Let's agree with it, right?
yes.
It's difficult for Indians to remain fit. We are not athletic by nature as a community. So how do we change that, right? So these are the problems which we need to find answers to, and in that journey, if you are somehow relevant to some people, kudos to you. But even if you are not relevant to certain people, if you're still relevant to you, whatever you are doing, and it's relevant to you, and that's, I think it is, this
Yes.
is the fact which troubles a lot of us, that we want to be relevant from outside people, but that's like the recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
There's a firm believer of Gita,
Mm,
and it says that you should not, victory or loss is not in your control, and what is in your control is what you can do.
yeah.
So you should do what is in your control,
Yeah.
and it may result in a loss, or it may result in a win,
Yeah.
but that's none of your business. And that's the best thing to psychologically keep yourself motivated in hard times. Just do what you're supposed to do. Forget about business relevancy. Forget about your relevancy in this world.
Yeah.
It might happen, it might not happen, right? So that's it.
That's a wonderful note to end on. Thank you so much, Chandan. It's been a diverse conversation. I feel like we've discussed so many different aspects of entrepreneurship and coding and the platform, all of it. Thank you so much for sharing these valuable insights with me. And I look forward to sharing this with the audience. I've had a great time. I'm sure they will.
Thank you so much. And thanks for giving me this platform to talk about it.